We are just waiting for the rest of our panelists to arrive, and then we'll be able to get this
But
thing
the
going.
professionals get here on time.
That's
right.
a true story. Tom Savini, seasoned professional.
Oh, damn, I thought we were talking about us. No,
No, we are
once again.
we are living on a hope and a prayer, bud.
Uh-oh, we
No,
have
the
more professionals in the
Uh-oh,
house.
the franchise showdown's about to happen, and it's not even a panel.
I killed him. I've killed quite a few people, actually. I wanted to figure out how many people I've killed, but I didn't want to do it myself. So we had a contest in Fangoria magazine. Whoever guessed got a free T-shirt or something. Hey, man.
So is this the boy band audition? Because
Have a seat. We're
Okay,
waiting
I think
for,
we're still waiting for a couple more.
PJ and
PJ and John and Kyle, I believe.
This is Friday the 13th versus Halloween.
Oh,
So why are you over there?
yeah, we
well,
should be.
because why are you over there?
Because I'm Friday the 13th.
So am I.
So you should be over here.
Well, who are they?
We're the hosts.
Doesn't
we're
matter
here
who we
to
are.
field the
We just snuck on
questions.
stage.
I just feel like
You're pissed off because I stabbed you in the back of the
I was gonna say he's probably a little scared.
He said, "This man has murdered me before. I'm going to get on the opposite side."
That's just self-preservation.
We could kill a little time with the question.
Not that we can see your
Yeah,
hands.
it's very blinding up here.
Just yell out your question.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So how did you get into special effects?
I assume you're talking to me.
That's got to be a Tom Savini question. Yeah.
I saw a movie when I was 11 called Man of a Thousand Faces. That was it. I decided that day I was going to be one of the guys that creates the monsters, because it was about Lon Chaney, who created the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Before that movie, I thought Frankenstein was real. That's why he scared me so bad. So that movie showed me somebody creates the stuff, and the magic that killed the magic for me. That magic, anyway, and believing that they were real. But another magic took over, the magic of creativity, And it is magic, the joy of creativity, giving life to something that never existed before until you decided to make it exist. That's a good feeling.
What's an all-time favorite movie monster of yours, Tom, that you didn't create?
All-time favorite movie monster, favorite.
Can't be one of yours, though. One of the ones you idolized.
Oh, Reagan from The Exorcist, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And The Alien, of course. Only two movies that have ever scared me. Hey, how you doing?
That sounded very poetic, Tom.
Stay healthy.
Yeah, you too.
Hardest scene to film in a Friday the 13th movie.
for who?
Yeah, we have some people from a variety of Friday the 13th movies here, so we can take that question down the line. Tom?
The hardest scene to film. Well, you remember we had Judy Aronson on the raft, and Jason stabs her from below. That was tough because she was going into hypothermia. Ted White, who played Jason, shut it down. He said, "Get her out of the water or I'm leaving," And they did. I mean, she was suffering. So it was hard on her. But the hardest effect, killing Jason in part 4, that was pretty graphic,
With the head sliding
down the machete blade. And that's only because one of my crew guys held the machete from Dawn of the Dead up to his head. I said, "Oh, great, that's how we'll kill Jason," because there was no ending in the script, no death of Jason. So they asked me to come up with it, and I thought that young Tommy, he was an inventor as well as a mask maker. That he would take a microwave oven apart and take the shooter and put a reflector behind it, and it had a variac 1 to 10. On 1, it would melt a toy soldier. I thought, what if he jams this in Jason's head and he turns it up to 10? Then Jason's head would explode. They said, well, you got to call the money people in Boston and tell them that, okay? And they said, no. Friday the 13th is about killing naked teenagers in the woods with household implements. I said, well, a microwave is a household implement, But that's when my friend did the machete. He said, well, that's how we'll kill Jason. Only we'll make him fall on his knees and then slide down the blade. And that was tough. It took 8 people to operate that.
So their thought was that more people have machetes in their homes than microwaves. That was the thought process from the producer standpoint.
Well, Jason had the machete.
Yeah, okay. I guess he probably uses machete on a daily basis, far more than a microwave.
Well, why does Jason exist? He died in the first movie, and Betsy Palmer was the killer. And I've had this argument with Betsy Palmer. She says, oh, no, we never found the body. Oh, so that means a kid like him crawled out of the lake and lived on crawfish for 35 years, and nobody noticed this weird kid walking around, you know. So that's the logic of why Jason is still running around.
And he just happened to be there watching as his mother, instead of saying, hey, Mom, I'm alive.
Well, that's right. He sees her beheaded,
He
doesn't
must see her beheaded, right?
Or he
Because
found,
that's a big
or he
thing
found
for
the
him.
head later, you know.
But he never once tried to say hi. He was just, you know what, I'll let this play out. I'll see what Mom has going on with these teens.
Well,
obviously doesn't work out for him. She's crazy? Is that what you said? She's crazy or he's crazy? Well, she is crazy.
Well,
but
she's a
he's little
fucking
crazy,
lunatic.
too.
to be
He's
fair,
living
I
in the
feel
woods.
like the bar for crazy is set pretty.
kill her, Mommy, kill her. She's hearing
yeah.
voices, you know.
You stay in the woods.
He said
Right,
you're still
I mean,
hungry, man.
That's true. Have you had crawfish? They're delicious.
Yeah. Well, you know, I turned down part 2 because they sent me the script and Jason's running around. I said, we're going to change that. Well, they never did. I did The Burning instead, which was written before Friday the 13th, but it's been called a Friday the 13th ripoff, you know, a burn guy killing teenagers in the woods, you know.
But that's based more on the Cropsey legend.
Burning was Cropsey.
Yeah.
So the series was waning around part 4, which is why part 4 is called the final chapter. They really thought it was going to be the last one. But it made so much money. You know, there's going to be a Friday the 13th part 13, I'm sure. We're up to 12 now, you know.
Well, actually, Sean Cunningham apparently was just teasing at another Friday the 13th movie coming within the next year or something.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a long time.
I know. It's like, I feel like I'm so gun-shy every time. I'm like, I'll believe it when I
Anybody
see
see the
it.
last Friday the 13th movie? It was amazingly stupid.
Are you talking about the remake?
Amazingly stupid.
The remake, you mean?
Well, the retelling.
Retelling,
Yeah.
reimagining.
Well, one of the guys actually says, your tits are stupendous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, who wrote this thing?
You never
believe-
said that to anyone before, Tom? I've seen some stupendous tits in my day.
I mean-
You've never said that?
Well, I'm 75, so I might say it today, but
So, yeah, we have one more
a guy
joining us here.
drops his gun in a puddle in the woods, and he actually says, where are you, gun? Now, I don't talk in movies, and I hate people that talk in movies. I'm always, but
So
me and my
actors.
friends, for the whole rest of the movie, where are you, gun? Your tits are stupendous. And the crowd was with us. You know, they stick Jason's head in the tree shredder. It knocks the mask off. And he had an excellent makeup on. It was gorgeous, but you did not see it in the movie. So what do? They drag him 150 yards and throw him in the lake so that you can go, great, when's he popping up now? Because you knew they only threw him in the lake to duplicate the ending of the first movie where he jumps out of the lake.
Right.
It was so stupid. Okay.
So I'm Kyle Labine.
Oh.
I just came here to say a few things. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to fuck off. I'm 39 years old. 39 years I've lived on crawfish, so that is a thing.
I mean,
you're
it's
chill.
See,
I'm the
you can
owner
do it.
I'm the owner of 2 machetes and no microwaves because they're little fucking nuclear particle accelerators,
fuck
and that
you
shit
then.
weirds me out. I'd rather dice my meat up really fine with a machete and put it in the oven. It gets done like that.
Yeah.
And then I understand that this is the Michael Myers versus Jason panel.
Apparently.
And hang on just one sec, Tom. And I just like to say that I think that Freddy would fuck them both up, guys. I'm sorry, man. I mean, I'm one
Oh.
of, I've been in a movie with all 3. I'm rarely qualified to answer this question. I'm not actually really qualified to answer this question at all, but I'm going to pretend like I am. And sorry, guys. We got, the hierarchy goes, glove with knife fingers, machete, knife. Sorry, that's the hierarchy.
Oh, wow.
It's done.
All right, okay.
I mean, all I'm
That's
saying
Kyle
is that I'm
Labine's
wearing
take.
Freddy socks tonight.
Officially.
Since this is called Friday the 13th versus Halloween, I have to say that there was more stupid stuff in Halloween than in Friday the 13th. Let me elaborate.
Oh,
Let me elaborate,
oh.
okay? The opening shot of Halloween is the killer's point of view walking to the house before he finds the girl sitting at the vanity. And the shot is from, I don't know, maybe 7 feet high, looking down on her. Then they cut to the outside of the house, and there's a kid with a knife. And I'm thinking, okay, where's the real killer? Oh, don't tell me it's this kid, because I just saw him looking down 7 feet on the girl. Okay, I'm in effects mode when I watch this movie, so that was a big mistake. Then they stab the guy in the kitchen in the stomach, and he stays upright against the wall. He would have fallen at the pivot point. You agree? Okay, great.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
I totally. I've thought the same thing. The eye line doesn't quite match.
Did you hear that? He thought so. You should have said something, or did you?
Well, he was
I
dead.
couldn't. There was a big hook holding me on the wall, so
Yeah.
I couldn't.
He was a little indisposed.
But
at the
anyway,
moment.
so I was in effects mode, so I didn't buy that particular effect, you know.
Okay, now that we're all here, we can officially get started, even though we've been already going for a
but
few
it's
minutes
time
here.
to go now.
Oh, it's almost time to
Good
go.
evening, everyone. How are you guys? Woo! Right on. My name is JB.
I'm Jordan.
We are from Camp Nightmare. We are so stoked to host this panel.
This is the Halloween versus Friday the 13th.
Franchise showdown.
That's right.
So really, you guys weren't told this, but you're actually all going to have to fight to the death. My money's on Tom.
Yeah, we're doing
I'm
Squid
just,
Game style.
Or honestly, Kyle, lifetime of crawfish.
My money's
you're-
on Tom,
You're
for
built
sure.
like a brick shit house, though, all from crawfish.
I don't
so,
know.
I'm,
Yeah,
taking,
he's got-
I'm taking a dive in the fourth.
He's
I'm
got
watching.
crawfish strength, but Tom Savini.
Well, I've only killed one person up here, him.
But can
Yes.
we just say, like, you are the studliest 75-year-old I've ever fucking seen in
Absolutely.
my
Thank
life.
you.
Absolutely.
He will.
So yeah, let's do some introductions. The man who needs no introduction. We have Tom Savini,
I was hit by a car on my bicycle last year.
who was hit by a car
Yeah,
and his bicycle last year.
I was 74 when that happened.
Oh, you look good.
Huh?
You look good.
I recovered well, yeah.
The car didn't.
My shoulder's still a bit deformed. The car was really fucked.
No, the car is fucked.
Total.
I took the hit with my shoulder, and my head broke the windshield. Yeah, I was on my
Good
bicycle.
Lord.
This is serious.
Are you the
This
host?
is
He'll
I
use
once,
that in
I once
effect
got hit on my bicycle. I got doored. Has anyone ever been doored? You know, you're riding your bike and someone opens the
Oh,
door.
yeah.
Oh.
And I hit the corner of the door. And I was actually riding. I had no helmet on, but I was riding with a backpack with 2 bottles of wine in it. This is a horrible combination right here. I don't recommend it. But the fact, I flipped right off my handlebars and I landed on the backpack flat. If I hadn't had the bottles of wine, I'm sure my head would have snapped back, but it didn't. And the bottles of wine didn't even break. So it was like doing everything wrong sometimes pays off. If like I'd only done like half the shit stupidly, I probably would have had a broken skull. But because I went full stupid, I ended up all right.
So a door
There you go.
opened, and you hit the door?
Yeah, I rode right into the door, and then the guy was yelling at me. I was like, "You have no idea."
How dare
what
you
you're
hit my
talking about."
door with your butt?
Yeah,
your head.
exactly. Oh, sorry, bud. Sorry.
Have a
Yeah.
bottle of wine.
Yeah, and going down the line
We
here,
settled-
for
we
those who
settled.
don't know, we have PJ Souls and John Michael Graham from the original Halloween.
Hello.
We've got Kyle Labine from Freddy vs. Jason, as well as
Halloween Resurrection.
Halloween Resurrection.
There we go.
That's right, he's faced them all. And then right all the way on the far end, we have Lawrence Monoson and Kim Beck.
Both from Final Chapter, yes?
Yes, that's right.
Right on.
And Monoson being the only one who's been killed by Tom Savini in person on this panel today. So we're talking a little bit about Halloween and Friday the 13th. You know, how much we're going versus is up to you guys, really. I know he's got some opinions right here. Tom has some
I only
opinions.
had 2, and I already said them. So.
But I want to talk a little bit about the very different productions as far as locale. So our people who were in our Friday the 13th movies, talk to us a little bit about running around on location in the woods making these movies. And then we'll talk to our Halloween crew about what it's like to sit in suburbia and get killed by a maniac. Because we both have our mass maniacs attacking you guys, but in very different situations. So what's it like shooting these movies?
Well, you know, one thing I want to say about Kimberly, I had a friend who recently watched the movie, and they were asking about Kimberly because you have this amazing fever pitch of growing hysteria throughout the scenario of the film, and I mean, you do it so well, and I do believe that you carry kind of a through line with you and Corey throughout the entire film that gives it a certain sort of, you know, foundation. I really do believe that. So I think, I don't know if that's one of your hardest parts of the film.
Cold, crying, being wet in
Yeah.
in January.
Sweetie,
The being wet?
talk in the microphone.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
So you're saying being wet and cold was a big issue.
Yeah, I think, were you wet and cold?
I was never wet or cold.
Well, they would wet us down. They would wet me down, and I would be running.
Is that because it was raining?
Yeah, it was supposed to be raining, and it was in Topanga Canyon.
No, Zach Lake. We shot at Zach Lake.
But I shot in Topanga Canyon for a
Yeah,
month.
me too. Yeah.
Yes.
God, not at Kelly's Gulch, I hope.
No, it was that house that actually. There's another show that was just shot there and that my husband produced, and I said, "Oh, that was the same house that I shot Friday the 13th. It's in the Orville."
Oh, really?
Oh, the show The Orville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Dolly Parton's house,
Really?
and they got Dolly Parton. Yeah, but it was just very, very cold, and I was in amazing shape because I ran every day because I did not want to get sick and trying to keep up my immunity. And I did not get sick until the last day. Yeah. But it was freezing, and to this day, when the cold water comes on a shower, it's just like a sense memory of those moments of having to be so hysterical and cold. And, it was December and January in Topanga, which is by the ocean, and it was about 35 degrees there.
Whoa.
It was so cold.
Wow.
I only know Topanga from having a huge crush on her from Boy Meets World. That's what Topanga means to me.
We're
That is
almost exactly
also-
the same age. I feel you.
Yeah, that's also what it
I
means
feel
to
you.
me, so it's okay. Seems like it's a good place.
I guess I'll address that a little bit. I never really thought about the different scenarios for settings, but I guess being primarily in Freddy versus Jason, maybe they did a little bit of a combination of those things. I mean, the urban kind of setting for that, may not have played in, but I guess with Freddy, maybe it was a little bit more like that. So, maybe they combined like the cornfield type setting for the Jason stuff. So we had like a big rave scene out in the corn field, which was super trippy. Hundreds and hundreds of extras just all jumping in unison to a rave kind of corn scene. And that was super fun to film out there. And then we had some really beautiful and creepy as shit settings, like in actual old shut down mental hospitals, which played both as the hospital kind of asylum thing and as the high school. So if you've wondered, if you've ever been roaming through an asylum and been like, this seems like a high school type layout. Yeah, they're the same layout, generally speaking.
It's funny how that works,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was there was the fourth floor of that hospital that was shut down. The whole thing I think was not operational at that point, but it was like you weren't allowed to go up there, and so of course a bunch of us fucking did, and it was very, very, very creepy up there. Riverside or Riverview in like Port Coquitlam in just outside of Vancouver, which is where Freddy vs. Jason was shot. Yeah, it was super. Yeah, I think if you talk to Monica Keena, she had the shit scared out of her several times up in that top floor where it was don't go up there. It was
I bet. Kyle, can you talk a little bit about your character from that film? The stoner character is a quintessential archetype from the slasher films. And as far as I can tell, your stoner character is the only one to actually get high with the killer. Usually they just get high and then get killed.
You got high with Freddy?
I got high with
well,
the
actually, Freddy pulls out
caterpillar
the
version
hookah.
of Freddy, and then I got to be Freddy for a brief period of time,
That's
which
right.
was definitely my, artistically, that was my favorite portion of the whole thing, was getting to sit down with Robert and talk about, you just, I was 18, and you just think, oh, this dude's just acting scary, and then you hear the whole, I want to use a fancy word that I think is maybe the wrong word, but etymology. I'm going to say methodology, because I know that one's right, but the whole history of how he's built this character with the Western 3/4 to the camera, heavy right hands. Here I am talking all about Freddy and the fucking Jason versus Michael Myers thing, but that was really, really cool to experience that. So yeah, I got to get high with a version of him that was like a caterpillar, and then get possessed by him. So that was fun.
But he was all CG, so were you getting high in the scene with a tennis ball? How did they do the CG thing with you?
Yeah, probably like a tennis ball over the camera, just like a piece of tape, and just imagining a beautiful yet confusing caterpillar that was very captivating.
Yes.
And then ultimately I had to wrestle with said caterpillar, and that was something akin to like a multi-nippled green Martian breast. It was this weird kind of,
Was it stupendous?
It looked like some kind of a single-cell amoeba brought to life and made much bigger. So, they needed me to have steady hand placement on something. So I got to wrestle for several hours. I won. In real life, I lost on the thing, but in real life, I crushed that fucking thing.
I just want to say, as far as getting stoned, I am probably the only actor in the franchise that actually got stoned while filming the scene.
My man.
At the
There you go.
I feel stoned now.
That's because you were stoned and your character was
So
stoned.
in that death scene, when Teddy is getting stoned and watching this little old porno film before he gets killed, I was very method actor at the time, and I was very into sort of thinking about what would this really be like if I wasn't acting stoned, but if I was stoned. I mean, I think it's an interesting question as an actor, you know? So I went to my trailer and I was like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna, smoke it up. So I got really stoned, and I don't do well on pot. That's not my drug. And they came to get me, and I was like, oh my God, I was so paranoid. And I'm like, what do they want? And it's like, they want you to go on set to shoot the scene. And so I go on the set, and I'm like, and Joe Zito is coming up and giving me direction. I'm like, what? And I was just, it was a horrible experience, and I didn't know what I was doing, really. And
So you were stoned when I killed
reactions
you?
are all-
what?
You were stoned when I killed you?
Marijuana only lasts like a certain amount of time.
Okay.
That's a yes. That's a yes.
I was confused. Which is kind of what marijuana does. Which is why then I did some cocaine to just balance it out.
Yeah, you got to get back to even. Right?
It is. That's
Chemist.
I believe that's
professionalism
the
right
Meisner technique, I believe.
That's professionalism.
He was sacrificed.
It's actually the Busey technique.
Oh, is this the Busey thing? Okay. Now to our Halloween folks. PJ and John, tell us a little bit about your experience shooting Halloween. You guys seem to have a much more comfortable scenario.
Well, our locations were a van, a bed, and for me, a sidewalk. So, and it was great.
Where are you
We
going?
had fun in all three of those
Where
places.
exactly are you going?
He's going to get stoned, bro.
Kyle,
Right now?
Kyle Labine just walked off the stage.
Kyle Labine, ladies and gentlemen, give it up.
Thank you very much, Kyle.
Make him feel awkward for leaving early.
Yeah, you could have said goodbye.
I kind of feel like I lived your experience, except I wasn't stoned. I just felt all of those things without being stoned. I was 18 or 19 or whatever and was terrified. And we only worked 3 days on the film. And I just remember hiding in the RV with the kids, like Kyle Richards and
Kyle.
Brian and stuff. So I was just like, they'd come and get me, I'd be like, oh God, here we go. What do I do? Yeah, so I managed to be terrified and paranoid and all those things without actually having the fun of getting high.
Was it just the nerves of just being on set and making a movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was my first, thing like that, and I just freaked out.
And we had to get into bed.
And we
I
were in
mean,
bed together. Well, that was
it was-
okay.
yeah,
That was actually
fun.
fun.
Aw.
Yeah, we had a good
fun.
time.
Yeah.
We had a-
So we had a good time with that. But,
Well, yeah, that sounds like a good time. Was it scary being on your first film and being stalked by a masked madman?
well, I mean,
He came
I've,
from behind.
I've said this before, but I thought it was going to be the worst film ever made because I agree. There are some things in that film that are just, the knife was this, was a foot and a half long, and it's holding me up on a wall, So I just thought, what is this? This is a terrible drive-in movie,
So were you shocked when the film came out and it was a massive success?
I'm still shocked. I'm shocked tonight, I mean, I love the film. It's a great film, and even although it doesn't make any sense a lot of the time, it's a wonderful film, and it's beautifully made in many ways, and it's not violent. It's more frightening, and
There's no blood.
there's no blood, and so yeah, I really respect the film. But it's a film.
Well, what it had was the best scares come from suspense.
Exactly.
So you create a suspenseful situation and put people in it, and now you're on edge with them, So it really succeeded on that level,
And of course, as you know, when you're making a film, it's not always suspenseful when you're standing on a box and somebody's pretending to lift you up.
Right.
So it was scary when that mask came out from the closet door, just somebody came and grabbed
Right.
you.
Sure.
And so there were scary
was a-
moments, but for
that's
the
a-
most
that-
part.
That's a chair jumper.
It was
Yeah.
not.
And chair jumpers
Are you
only
talking about
last-
for you as an actor scary or watching the movie?
No, watching the movie,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
scary.
there's nothing
but as an
scary
actor,
sitting
you're just
on a set.
thinking,
I mean, it's just
you're
all
thinking,
ridiculous.
what is this?
Yeah.
This is awful.
Well, it's a chair jumper, and that scare only lasts for a couple of seconds. Boo, the cat flies out of a box, birds fly out of a window. That's like a 2-second scare. But a suspense scare can last 20 seconds. You don't want to go wait too long or the audience gives up and they don't care anymore. But a good director times it by putting the people, here's a room, there's a door here, there's a door here. You show behind this door the masked killer, the tentacled creature, the bomb that's about to go off. You show
Ghost,
that.
the man in the sheet coming behind.
Exactly. So you show that behind this door. Then the girl walks in this door. And it's usually a girl because it's a horror movie, right? As soon as she walks in, the scare has started. You can't wait for her to get to this door. And now if you're a good director, you slow her down. The phone rings. So now she's on the phone and you're like, get off that fucking phone and get to, I want to see what's going to happen when you get to this door. So she hangs up and you're like, great. And she heads to you slow her down again. Oh, I broke a nail or something, you know? And now it's really getting you up there. So when she opens the door, there's nothing there. And you go, and then the monster jumps out or the bomb goes off. The best way to scare somebody is to make them laugh or put them in that, kind of phrase. Yeah. So it's a manipulation, and that's what a suspense scare is, and that lasts longer than a boo, like a chair jumper. And they're the best scares.
And that's probably why Halloween has lasted so long, right? Because for all the mistake that you brought up, it's all atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
It's all suspense, and he really created a tone with that film that resonated.
Well, and there's something truly terrifying about a silent killer, right? And it was really one of the first times that was ever done.
Killer.
Breathing.
Yeah, there's something truly terrifying about, and I think it's the lack of emotion. I think it's the lack of empathy that he's not excited about killing you. He's just doing it.
And the mask, right? He's just one shade away from humanity.
Well, William
right?
Shatner is a horrible person to look at.
Well, it's true.
so-
Anybody in a Shatner mask is frightening for one reason or another.
Halloween was before Friday the 13th, wasn't
Yes.
it?
Correct, yes. And obviously gives us two of our most famous silent killers.
Oh,
and,
Jason, yeah.
and Michael, though Michael does do a little bit of breathing.
Yeah.
Right, kind of Leatherface style. But Jason's really completely silent. So
And Freddy was just a dream.
right?
Yeah, and
and
Freddy's
couldn't
also
shut
the-
up either.
And it wasn't. I didn't think it was a burn makeup because his nose was still there, the lips were still there, his eyelids were still there, his ears were. That's not a burn makeup. I don't know what that was. It's supposed to be a burn makeup. The remake, the guy was more. I didn't see it, but the guy was more like a burn victim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the tip of the nose is the first thing to go, and your lips.
I've always kind of interpreted that maybe that's what people imagine a burn, so it appears in people's dreams as what they think that thing should look like, but in reality, obviously.
It's tough to erase a nose.
Sure. and Tom, you can speak a little bit to that, because you've talked forever about how you've brought realism is the number one important thing when you do effects. So what are some of the things when you're going through a kill scene with an actor? How are you coaching them to die?
Well, for one thing, I was a combat photographer in Vietnam, saw a lot of cadavers, and in almost every case, the eyes are open. It takes a muscle contraction to close the eyes. So if you're killed suddenly, you die suddenly, whatever, none of your muscles work, including your jaw muscles. So the cadavers always had a slack jaw because the muscles aren't working to hold them up. And that's what I hate about certain horror movies with victims. They're an actor playing dead, and they want to look pretty for the camera. The mouth is closed and the eyes are closed. That's not reality. But I'm one of the few makeup artists who have seen the real thing over and over again. And blood the next day is brown, it's not red, So these are mistakes that I see. The jaw's always slack. The eyes are always open. You know who plays a great cadaver? Danny Trejo.
Yep.
Danny Trejo was an expert at playing a dead body, but then who knows how many times he's had to pretend to be dead. Because I read his resume, and it said 11 years, San Quentin Drama Club. Okay. In fact, the tattoos on his chest were begun in San Quentin, and the tattoo artist was transferred to Folsom Prison, and Danny had to wait till he was transferred to Folsom Prison for the guy to finish the tattoo on his chest. But I'm sure he's had to play, and in Dusk Till Dawn, I had to whip him off a pool table. And before I did it, he yelled at me in front of everybody, cast, crew, that don't be hitting me with that fucking bullwhip, okay? So now I have to, on the first take, I whipped him right in the calf. Yeah. I thought my life's over, so he didn't kill me. He was very nice about it. But I had to, get him off the pool table. But he plays it, and Peter Coyote played a great dead body in the movie Ransom. Did you ever see that?
Yep.
Instead of going to the morgue and identifying the body, It's a new thing where they show you the body on a TV screen. And he was lying there with his mouth open and his eyes wide. And he was a great dead body. Did I go? I went off on a tangent there, didn't I?
It's all right. You're always catching dead body actors. There should be like an Oscar, category for who plays the best dead body of the year.
But I've killed a lot of people.
So any other questions from the audience?
Yeah, let's open it up to the audience.
Just yell it out because we can't see your hands.
Yeah, we're blinded up here. I see a hand.
Go ahead, bud.
What we got? Right there.
Bill from Guess Who?
The original Halloween, whose idea was it for dialogue to rip Lindsay's clothes off?
The original Halloween, whose idea was the dialogue about let's go rip Lindsay's clothes off?
Okay, this is weird. I hadn't heard about this whole weird controversy until this, like a month ago. So that's in the script. Bob is just making a joke. He's saying, first, I'll rip your clothes off, you'll rip my clothes off, we'll rip Lindsay's clothes off. I mean, it's not, Bob is a weird sex maniac pedophile. At least it wasn't in my mind. I don't think it was in John Carpenter's mind.
But it was in the script, right?
It's in the script. I know there's some weird thing of like, we're babysitters, we're just talking about, yeah, we're gonna do this and whatever. So it was just a joke, and I think everyone's taking it really weirdly seriously about Bob is a secret pedophile, or that I, as the actor, made a mistake and they just kept it in, which, come on, they would not do that. No, I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying, but I've heard that from people like, oh, Bob, we think Bob's a pedophile. Or it's like, no. It was just a joke. In the 70s, it was a whole different world, and that was just a harmless joke.
It was raunchy babysitter humor.
You're not going to rip off a kid's clothing. We're just, yeah. So I assume that's what you were kind of asking about, yes?
Anybody else?
It was in the script.
It was in the script.
All right, what else we got? Questions from the audience?
Well, thanks for coming.
Well, I've got a question.
All right.
I've got a question for Tom about the original Friday the 13th film. And I've heard this story before, but I'm really just indulging myself in one.
I did not kill the snake.
The Kevin Bacon death scene.
Oh, yeah.
Can you go through that with us about how it went wrong and how you saved it at the last minute?
Oh, I didn't save it. My assistant did,
I'm
actually.
sorry.
Yeah, there was a movie called Martin where a guy gets a stake in the neck, and I built a torso, from the chest up. And then the actor just placed his head where the neck should be. And that's what Kevin Bacon did. And so that in that movie, the stake goes in the neck. So when, and I invented that, it wasn't in the script. So Kevin Bacon was on his knees under the bed with his head resting on the fake body. And I would push the arrow through the fake body so you would see it come out. And my assistant was pumping blood into the ice pack, hot water bottle that the arrow was attached to. And when he was pumping it, the tube came off the pump, and he grabbed it and blew in it, and that's why the blood gurgled out of Kevin Bacon. So it was a happy accident that made the effect so much better. Yeah.
No, it's brilliant. It's one of the best effects in any of those films, in my opinion.
And it's funny how many times you hear the happy accidents turn out to be the things that get remembered for so many years.
Right, and there's been quite a few of those, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So unless there's any other questions to the audience, I'd like to end this by, if you all wouldn't mind just sharing one of your more positive and favorite memories from making your respective films. We'll start all the way at the end.
I mean, we were all really young actors at the time, and it was exciting, working with Crispin, and you and I never really worked together.
We were on the set together.
Yeah,
but
we were on the set together all the time. But yeah, it was exciting, and I some of you guys may know this, but Crispin and I had the opportunity to do a lot of kind of our own improvising, and wrote actually a lot of the dead fuck stuff and the computers and all that stuff, and they let us do that, which was really cool in a big franchise like that, to let us have that kind of freedom. And it's funny you talk about the Kevin Bacon accident living on, and the thing that when people always come up, they always talk to me about, don't be such a dead fuck, and that none of that was in the script. So I think that was great, and I just think being part of some weird cinematic, like little tiny piece of history it's great. It's a really, between this and Last American Virgin, of these two films have just like kind of lived on all these years, and that's a lovely thing to be part of.
Yeah, that's really special.
Hell yeah.
Kim, same question?
I feel like Lawrence. When I was making it, I was like, oh my God, this is like so, what is it going to be? I had never seen any of them, and it ended up being just a really great experience. It was really fun. Some weird, crazy things happened in my life at the same time, and I like people following me and stuff, really, really creepy things, phone calls and stuff that just happened during that time. And I never really understood why, but it was a great experience. I had a great time. I felt like being a part of something that has ended up just seemingly getting bigger and bigger. I've been really shocked by it, and the fans are so nice, and it's always such a joy to be with everybody in this, great place. I never thought in a million years it would ever end up being something like that. It's been really, really lovely.
Wait, and one last thing I just want to say about Final Chapter was really interesting. You guys will not know this, but Pauline Kael, who is a really big critic for the New York Times, I remember when this film was reviewed, and she both complimented it on one hand, saying that the actors, because it had a really good cast. I mean, Crispin Glover and Peter and Kimberly and me, and so they said it was actually a better film and more offensive, because you actually got to know these people a little bit and actually care about these characters to some degree, whatever character development it was. And so watching them be so brutally murdered was actually more disturbing than when it's more just like the naked kids jumping in the lake. And even though we had that, I thought that review was so cool.
Well, in most other movies, you can't wait for them to be killed.
But I have to say, I think Joe Zito was such a good director. He was, he really, first and foremost, he was concentrating on all of our performances, which I was really shocked by, and it was a great opportunity. I had never seen any of them, and just coming into it clean and imagining being in that position, it was really fun as an actor to be able to do that and have the freedom. And Joe Zito I think he was great.
I've done 6 movies with Joe, and the nice thing about our movie is when the effects happened, they were quick. But Jason's death was long and slow. I think the other ones were quick so that he could get away with showing Jason's death more,
And I think those two things you guys just brought up, I think, are why the Final Chapter remains one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies. Is one, because the care taken with the effects and the kills and the characters. Like, when you think of the Friday the 13th movie, that is the movie I go to when I think of characters that I remember and that I relate to. And I think a lot of the stuff between you and Crispin Glover really does lend to that, because now that you say that it was improv, it feels very personal, feels very intimate and real. So I appreciate that was something they allowed you to do.
These films, honestly, as people go forward, one of the problems, if they put in the minutia details and specifics of characters, the horror is so much more effective, because you actually feel like there's some reality and that these people are real,
Absolutely. PJ, same question. A fond memory from making Halloween.
Well, the whole process was great, from the casting to the final day, and just making it as a young actress. And what's great about coming to the conventions is I always get to relive and see what I was feeling, with the effect that the fans say when they watch the movie, that it's meant so much to them. And, like John says, it's sort of confusing. Well, it's just a simple little film, but it's lasted all this time. It must be something more than that. For us, we were hoping to get another part, and it was amazing that, it turned out all right, and we knew our lines, and we made up lines, and we had fun. How can you have fun and be at work? But we did, and it was great. But I think, seeing it through the eyes of fans makes us realize that it really is a very special film, and it touches people, and they show their kids, and it's just makes it an even sweeter memory when it's relived every time we come to a convention and people tell us, "Oh, I loved your part," or "I didn't want you to die because you were so cute," or whatever. And it's just become an even greater memory than I remembered it.
And all I have to say to that is totally.
Totally.
Man, you beat me to it,
I
man.
knew-
I
I
was
knew you
trying
were
to.
after
I was
it.
about
I
to
was
be
gonna
like, do you
swoop
just
in
look
and
at
I was
those
gonna
fans
take
and
it.
say, totally?
And John, same question.
Oh, I mean, you basically said it all. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, I think I'm sure we all feel that it's just incredible that something we did so long ago means so much to all these people and their kids and it's people come up to you and say, you're my favorite kill. I mean, it's weird and like oddly touching. You're just like, oh, well, that's wonderful, I guess. It's just an amazing experience to be a part of a film like that.
And we feel appreciated at these shows. Because there's no applause on the set. Sometimes there is. But this is where we get the reward, with that. Now, I thought you were talking about just in movies in general. And for me, it was Dusk Till Dawn and working with George Clooney. He's the nicest man I've ever met. He was very inspiring. It doesn't take a lot of effort to be nice. But he was just so extraordinarily nice. But as far as Friday the 13th goes, in the first movie, there was no ending in that movie either. She kills Betsy Palmer, and that's the end. But I had just seen Carrie, and at the end of Carrie, the music is playing like the credits are going to roll any second, and that hand comes out of the grave and scares the shit out of you. I said, why don't we do that with Jason? He comes out of the lake and try to kill her, and again, he said, Jason's dead. Make it a dream. People accept anything. Wasn't there a TV series, JR or Dallas, where a whole season was a dream? They accept it if you make it a dream. So that's why that scene is in there, because I had seen Carrie and thought we should have a jolt at the end. So that was a great moment for me to think of that and have it happen,
And yet another moment from the film that has lasted forever. That's an iconic ending and something that was just come up with.
Yeah, him coming out of the lake.
Yeah, again, it's these happy accidents, these last-minute ideas that sometimes last forever in these movies.
Sissy was really in the box. She insisted that it be her hand.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that was
I
actually
just
Sissy
read
Spacek's
that.
hand.
She was
Yeah.
married to Jack Fisk at the time.
Wait, say that again. What? The hand what?
Sissy Spacek was in a box buried
Oh, and
in
it was
the
her
ground.
hand.
Yeah, she insisted that- yeah.
that it be her hand because she was married to Jack Fisk, who was the set
Oh, okay,
designer.
okay.
And we all watched that scene, and it was amazing because we were like, "Why does she care if it's her hand?" It's like, and she wanted it to be her hand. So
We know,
it made it, and they had oxygen down there. I mean, it was
Yeah.
a serious effort. You should be interested. in
She
this
also
because it
slept in
was-
her bloody clothes from the
Yes.
climactic
Oh, I
massacre
know
scene for
that,
3
yeah.
nights straight because
Yeah.
she wanted to preserve the
Well,
continuity
there
of
was
it.
a trailer in the back of the
Yeah.
the stage at Culver City Studios.
Now,
and she slept
it's
in.
Amy Irving that comes to the grave, right? And the hand comes out?
Yeah, but it's Sissy's hand.
Right. But
Yeah.
what I heard was he shot her in reverse, walking backwards.
Yes,
So that
that's-
she looked
yeah.
ethereal coming toward the grave.
I thought the music was great too because
Yeah.
they set you up for being
Yeah.
relaxed now. We finally
Right.
can relax.
And again, you
But-
thought the credits were going to roll any second, and
And
that
then suddenly,
hand
yeah.
comes up. Yeah.
Yeah, and exactly it's the same kind of gag with the Friday 13th. We have
Yeah.
the nice music, we got the beautiful setting, everybody's all
And
relaxed.
whammo,
you scare
yeah.
them. Whammo.
Right on.
So thank you everybody for
Yes.
coming to this.
Thank
This
you,
means
guys.
a lot. As you mentioned before, the fans truly appreciate all of you being here. So thank you all so much. Again, my name is Jordan.
I am JB.
And we are the hosts of the Camp Nightmare podcast.
Yeah.
In this theater after this, we are doing a live podcast with Horror Movie Night, so stick around.